The same rules that we've always had. The one foremost being you do not publish something unless you're sure that it's true or you believe to your best of your ability that it is true. You know, the old cliche, it's better to be right than to be first. And that has proven itself over and over. The other part of it is, you know, if you publish consistently, that takes care of itself. People stop listening. People stop reading what you have to say. But it's much harder. You know, we are all, because we don't have the resources that we used to have, we are all having to learn to do with less. Now, one of the good things that the technology has done that is going to help us in this is all the equipment has gotten smaller. So one thing, we don't need as many people. When I came to work at CBS, you had a three-man camera crew. You know, because the cameras were so big. It took one guy to hold up the camera and put it on his shoulder. The sound man had to hold all the sound gear. And then we had what we call an electrician who sort of held the lights and all of that. Well, now you can do all that in a little camera that, well, you can do it on a flip phone. You know, it's not the greatest picture in the world, but you can get something there. So that is going to help. But what you're going to see is you're seeing more and more now in all of these news organizations going to what we used to call the one-man band, and that is the person who can shoot their own pictures, edit their own pictures, and then be the correspondent who narrates it. Now, that's not always a great way to do it, but for example, at CBS, the young woman we have in Afghanistan right now, our main correspondent there, that's how she's doing it. But we just, the thing is that we cannot cut corners ethically just because we have fewer people. We have to, if we have to cover fewer stories, then we have to cover fewer stories, but we have to cover them right and maintain the standards we've always had. So far, we've been able to do that, but we'll see how far this goes from here on. Mm-hmm.
I'm from North Dakota, and my colleague told me I had to say I was from North Dakota. Do you have a Kindle? Do you use a Kindle?
Do I?
Have a Kindle? Electronic?
I do.
Isn't it great?
Yes, and I, for one thing, you know, my eyes are getting bad, and I can get it up to that big type late at night, and it really helps. But I love books. I just love books. I like to hold them. I like to look at them. I have a friend who said when she was a little girl, she liked books so much that she went to the library and she'd lay down between the stacks just so she could smell them. I haven't quite gotten that far, but I've just had a lifelong love affair with books. And so I like when I can to read the book. But when I'm going on a trip, my wife and I went to Europe last spring, and each of us took 15 books on our Kindle. And it's really great for travel. I wonder if that's not going to be where we wind up with newspapers in some version of the Kindle. Maybe it'll be larger. You know, what I would like to see electronically is I'd like to see on an electronic page the front page of the newspaper, so I could see what the editor thought was the most important story. I might not agree, but, you know, being a journalist, I like to know what they thought was the big story. And then it seems to me the technology is there where you could put your finger on that story and it would come up to where you could read it. But so far, newspapers really haven't worked out the way that they can make enough off the ads they charge online to justify the expenses it costs to run a newspaper. You know, a newspaper, saying a newspaper becomes a blog, you know, it's just going to be a different kind of news gathering organization than a blog that has 10 people working for it. There's just no way around that. And how we can find a way to keep supporting these newspapers, what we have come to think of as newspapers, maybe they're not printed, but newspapers, because there are some very good blogs out there. I mean, right now, or websites, I should say. I would say one that is an excellent website right now is Politico. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but I think Politico now gives probably the best political coverage and the most comprehensive political coverage that's going right now. And I would not have said that a year ago. So things are changing. It's not, though, whether it's printed or whether it's on the web. It's the product that's there, and being able to identify it as accurate information. To me, that is the important thing. Is there another one? Yes, here we are.
You're here witnessing philanthropy's national response to this issue, and many of us represent local philanthropy's response to it. And I'd love to know your thoughts and concerns about the not-for-profit's role in journalism and funders' role in journalism and maintaining.
You know, I think we're trying to pay for this building down at the TCU Schieffer School of Journalism. This is John Lumpkin, who's the director, sitting right there. And anything you'd like to do along that line, I think would be the Lord's work, not just. No, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know what the answer is, and I mean, what I like about this conference is that clearly nobody has decided the right way to go, but people are trying, and Knight is encouraging people to just, you've got a good idea, okay, try it. Let's see if it works. It's the old Ross Perot kind of thing. Let's try it. Let's pilot program it. Let's see how that works and see what we come up with, because we have an enormous problem, and it's going to take, as they always say about war is too important to be left to the generals. The problems we have in communications right now in journalism, it goes beyond those of us in journalism, and that's why I'm so happy to see you all do it. So I just say keep it up. If you got an idea, figure out a way to get somebody to help you and see if it works, because it may not, but on the other hand, it might be the thing we're all looking for. So I really appreciate what you all are doing, and I really do thank you all for having me today. It's really fun to be here. Thank you.